Oh, and welcome to the race. Sorry, I forgot to press go live, and we're now, where are we? 11 minutes into the race. Apologies for that. There's usually some button I forget to push, but an exciting start to the race anyway for this, the Glasgow Green Cycle Club hosted race, the Crit-Climb Race series. It's the Casse-Pattes course, 23.8 kilometres, 155 metres of climbing, and it's a point race. One of the sprints has been already, and it looked to me as if O'Brien in Category B won that. Groups are now settling in. Jury's off the front for Cat A. 1 minute start intervals between A, B, C and D, so don't be misled by the timings on the screen. And now all the people I insulted in the first 11 minutes, when I forgot to push go live, I can do again now. See if I can come up with something different. Usual culprits in this group, Davis, Campbell, McQueen. Jury, I think, is doing well to hold on in here. Rowland's in there. 9.2 kilometres in. Just going to move to the front of the field and see. Jury, Katie, both juries are riding tonight. Still with those same two riders. The rest of the Cat A group pulled a minute ahead. And just to give you some indication, so those Cat A riders are now 2 minutes 22 seconds ahead of Cat B. So they are in fact pulling away and have pulled away quite a distance. So that's rather than think that these three riders are slow, I think it's the others that have gone exceptionally fast at the start, and that might all be down to the nature of this event, the points race and the sprint. So there's a long way to go in terms of tactics and kilometres as well, but 10.5k in at 14 minutes with Jury at the moment. Now Davis and Rowland up the front of Cat B. 2 kilometres for these riders until the next sprint, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just check. Indeed, the Pavé sprint at 12k. And then we start to have a couple of undulations from about 14k through to 20. So about 6-7 kilometres before moving back down to the finish. Having a look at Campbell, beginning to push a little bit here. Heart up to 142, 410 watts. Smith with the Ukrainian flag, unless he's changed nationality, but that's nice to see. Some of the riders I've seen this evening wearing Ukrainian kit as well. If I knew how to change mine, I probably would. In this group, Ware, Campbell, O'Brien, McQueen, Lancier, well represented by BCC. Now, O'Brien really went for the sprint last time. Is he going to do it this time? I reckon Lancier's got a good sprint in him if he winds himself up. Reed's in there. I've seen him sprint. Wales has got a good sprint at times as well. Wood in this group. 10.6 kilometres, 15 minutes. So we're going to be just over 30 minutes by the looks of it. 33, something like that. Right, managed to get O'Brien on the screen. So 11.3, riders looking ahead. They know when the sprint is coming. And it's a short one, I think. I haven't got the exact distance, but it'll be under, I think it's under 400 metres, this one. So it's a full power job, but holding a sprint for what will be, oh, let's have a guess. 30 seconds is, here they go, push, push, push. McQueen's out in front, Rowland's gone for it. Ware's out there, Lancier's out there as well. Looks to be Davis, cunning as usual. Who's it going to be crossing the line first? I think, looks like Davis has crossed the line first, followed by McQueen, then maybe Lancier. Not sure what happened to O'Brien, Smith, Campbell. I'm sure he's in there somewhere, but lots of thumbs up and PRs coming out, so that was a hard sprint for all these riders. next sprint in 2 kilometers only. So they've got to, Katie there's just got the climber's jersey, or the sprinter's jersey, I should say. Now, Davis probably overextended himself, knowing him. Heart up at 171. He can go higher than that. He can get it up to close to 180, but I get a bit worried about his heart. And now look how this group is suddenly stretched out, splintered left, right and centre. Smith's still in there. That's nice to see. Didn't think he'd hang on with this increasing pace. But a while since I've seen him race, to be fair. Now, what's going to happen in this next sprint? Coming up for 1.3 kilometres away. We'll let these riders get there, then go back in the field and see what's happening behind. 1 kilometre to the sprint. Looking at Davis at the moment, Campbell, Smith's ahead. Riders rotating around, McQueen's in there, Lancier's there. All here, Ware's there. No, Ware's 4 seconds behind. That will be, if I have a quick look back, that's that group coming around the corner now. So it is beginning to split apart. Where's O'Brien? Let's see what he's thinking of this time. So he managed to get there for the first sprint. Power is going up, starting to think about it. Starting to manoeuvre for position. Davis has moved into the front, so has Lancier. Not letting O'Brien get the best position here. But O'Brien, you can rush the gap here. Don't sit out the front would be my advice. Just stay with them. Create a little gap, then come rushing past. And here it comes. Davis at 7.3 watts per kilo. There's the sprint banner. Some well-timed power-ups coming up. Looks to be Davis is 1 second ahead of O'Brien. O'Brien's winding it up at 8.3. Davis hasn't responded yet, but no, it looks to be Davis who's got there first again. O'Brien just wasn't there, really. Smith, Campbell, Ware coming up to the sprint now, not sprinting at all. Neither is this rider, Jury, Mark, 13 seconds further back. Pedley and Wales, another 20 seconds further back. Reed just looking at that sprint ahead now. I'll have a look and see what these riders do. So Wales, Jury, Ware, no, Wales and Jury, I reckon. Ware must be over the sprint. Yes, he's right on it now. Pedley's in there, so Pedley, Wales and Jury. No, Pedley and Wales, in fact. Who's going for, anyone got a sprint for it? There are points awarded down to 30th place, so even a Jury's gone for it by the looks of it. So even if you're not sprinting for a win, there's some valuable points to be had. There's Reed and Wood. Reed confident rolling ahead of Wood. There's Walker. I don't think I've seen him in the race so far. Langan the second back now. This could be interesting because a whole collection of riders here. Langan, Shannon, Meashan, Littlewood, Sampson, White, all together. This is not a group of riders I would have said would be riding together under normal circumstances. At 13.2 kilometres for these riders, 19 minutes 45 seconds into the race. And 13.4k under the aqueduct. The sprint banner will come into view. Shannon's up out of the saddle, but is he going to hold off Sampson, Langan? Let's see. Shannon's still sitting there. There's the sprint banner. Shannon's out to the saddle now at 6.9 watts per kilo. Samson's responded at 6.9 as well. Langen at 3.9. White at 4.7. Going up a little bit. Looks to be Shannon is going to get this sprint. If he's not careful though, Samson was... There's nearly a mistake. Samson was coming through it. That was a good sprint from him. A little bit mistimed, but that was a good demonstration of power coming up to the finish line where you need it. And there is Jones. And 27 seconds behind him is Booth with Stoneham. I don't think there might be a sprint here. We never know. Stoneham's got a good sprint in him, actually. Just next to Booth. Moving ahead of Booth by the looks of it. Just about to. Let's see what happens. Oh, he's got time to take a drink though. And there's the sprint banner. No one really sprinting here. Coming up to the 14k. Oh, a bit of a sprint right at the end. It was Tamsin that crossed the line first on that one. And now we move to Cat D. So, Smith, what is he up to at 13.3 kilometres? Does he fancy a sprint? He certainly pulled well ahead of Lay. In fact, that's an impressive performance from him. 1 minute 56 ahead of Lay. Now sitting there right up the front of Cat D. But now's the time to go. By the time you get round this corner and see it, it's going to be too late. Here we go. There's the 90-degree right-hand bend. He's moving himself towards the front at 4.3 watts per kilo. There's the sprint banner. Now's the time to go. If you're going to go, 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 go. None of these riders are responding. Points are valuable. You can beat other riders well up the field if you've got the points. Nope, no response there at all. And Lay's still quite some distance off, and Slipper and Telford are still next to each other at 12.7 kilometres into the race. Let me just double check it is actually recording now. Ah, I think so. Right, back up to the front. So we have, that was the Aqueduct KOM. Next we've got the Petit KOM, which is the longest on the course, 2.7 kilometres at 4%. And once that's over with, the riders are almost home. Certainly can enjoy a bit of a downhill before the final sprint to the finish. So what is happening here? So I can see Smith, Campbell, Ware, by the looks of it, is 30 seconds further back. Behind Ware, Wales is 9 seconds, along with Pedley. Here is Pedley, and here is Dury. And looks as if Wood has been pushed back. Further 30 seconds back, and Littlewood, so, and Reed is right next to Wood. Littlewood is of course in Cat C, so can't compare on time. Let's go to the pointy end now. So Roland O'Brien, let the timings just settle a bit. No, it is Roland. O'Brien is 30 seconds ahead. Finds himself isolated again. Maybe that first couple of sprints was just a bit too much. A little bit sad looking forward from his perspective. Sees those other riders disappearing. And one of those riders up ahead of him now is this man, Lancia, who for one of the big riders in in the group, is doing rather well, but of course not to be outdone in any shape or form. One of his great nemesis in this series is Davis. In fact, there is Jury, I've just seen, has the two jerseys now, the climbers and the sprinters. Well done to her. Is still managing to stay. Has she stayed? Just need to work out what's going on here. No, in fact, is now with the B riders, which is what I thought might happen. So this could be an interesting sprint coming up. So it's at the 20k, at the top of this climb. Will appear soon for the riders. Anyone going to give it a go? Jury's got a good sprint on her. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bends left to go as they work their way up the hairpin of the Petit KOM. Davis not giving any ground. Lancia right next to him. These two battle it out every race. O'Brien still by himself. Looks as if Rowland is closing the gap a little bit. Smith and Campbell and together McQueen. That early pace from McQueen, I thought it was a bit surprising. He was up there. He's dropped off as well. And Pedley, same applies, 45 seconds further back. But up to the front, let's see if anything's going to happen on the sprint. Not from O'Brien, it isn't. Not here. There's Davis, Jury in this group. And Lancia in there somewhere. Can't see him on screen at the moment. In fact, he is. He's right up there. Lancia looks as if he's ready to go for it. Only 2 more bends. This right-hand bend coming up. It's a hairpin, doubles back, then a left, and that's it. Don't know if we get an aerial shot of it. No. So Davis has pulled ahead of Lancia. And they know it's round this corner. And it's not a long way off, it's just there. So it looks to be at the moment it's Lancia, it's Davis followed by Lancia. Is Lancia going to get there? No, Davis holds him off. That was a good push. So it's Davis, Lancia, Jury. Having crossed the line now at 20 kilometres. O'Brien will be next, but somewhat further back. So 29.26. So this race, total distance 23.8. So the good thing about this staggered start is that there is plenty of time to go back and look at the other riders. There's our host this evening, Thompson, riding with a collection of BCC riders, Smith, Campbell, McQueen. Apparently not. They're 7 seconds further back and 18 seconds further back. That's just the leaderboard on the right hand of your screen, not updating. That's O'Brien now coming up. He still gives a little bit of a kick as he crosses the finish line. Forever the competitor. Now, up at the front, Davis. Oh, a little bit of a breakaway here. Now this is interesting. Has Lancia gone up the front or is Lancia behind? No, Lancia is behind. Lancia is 3 seconds behind. So it is. Davis has decided to go for it. 21.3 kilometres. Fancies himself now all the way to the finish, I expect. Bit of a downhill coming up. Not a huge one. But it might just be enough. But there is quite a large group pushing hard behind. Is this a brave choice? Well, if these other 2 riders can work with them, it could work. That gap is now, well, confusingly it says 5 seconds to Jury and 2 seconds to Lancia, who's behind Jury. But anyway, looks to me to be about 3 or 4 seconds on screen. Let's see from Lancia's perspective what it says. It says 2 seconds. Lancia just freewheeling there, trying to tuck in behind the bunch. So it looks as if the group is going to come back together. There is Davis. One of those three riders has dropped. So now this is the challenge for Davis. Just one other rider with him. Jury is 2 seconds further back. Should be able to see. There they are. Not many choices here, but there's good tactics there into the super tuck for Davis, taking advantage. The rest of the group now is right on top of him. He will do very, very well indeed to hold them off for the next kilometre. Finish line, they know exactly how far it is. It will be counting down on the screen. I can't see that. And here we are. So that brave attack from Davis hasn't paid off. No one attempted to bridge, but nonetheless, this peloton has consumed Davis as he moves towards the back of the field, and it is Lancia out in front now. Was that a bright move from Lancia? Well, we'll see very shortly. 23.4 kilometres, 32, coming up for 33 minutes. Davis is beginning to push a little bit again, wants to stay near the front, doesn't want to get caught behind anyone else, but at the same time doesn't want to poke out into the wind just yet. And I think it's a right and a left and a bit of a right, and then the finish should come into view if I remember. Power up still available. Davis 8.2 watts per kilo. There it is. So it's Davis going for it. No response from Lancia. Lancia has now responded. Davis still ahead. No, Lancia is pulled in front. It is Lancia. Well done to him. Followed by Davis. Then Jury. Next up will be O'Brien, I think. A little bit further back in the field. He's now at 23.1 kilometres. Those early sprints, I think, have taken it out of him. Across the paved section. And for that, I meant to say for the Petite KOM, the fourth sprint, that was a double point one, so that was really the one to go for. And there's Lancia coming up 12.11 on the sprint. Third fastest, Wood crossing 16.12, Pedley 14.72, Wales 14.77, Reed 14.2. Can't see anyone else at the moment on the screen. O'Brien 15. That's not sprinting. In fact, he's not pedalling now. 3.4 watts per kilo crossing line. Little push towards there. Next up is Roland by himself, at least by himself in BCC terms, and with only one other rider, Nakamura. Who's next behind him? Looks like Smith, Campbell, Thompson. We'll go back and watch them in a moment. So he's now at 23.8, just coming into the finishing area of the course, and he begins to wind it down. I'm not going to catch the other riders now. Let's have to go back to the start. Oh, I think it was just Campbell, Thompson, Campbell, Smith, then McQueen crossing the finish line. Just caught them. There's Ware. And Ware must have crossed as well. He's 22.7k. Oh, no, has he stopped? What's going on with it? Oh, sorry. He's in a super tuck. That's why he's at 0 watts. So a good choice there. So Ware and Jury, Mark. Katie's already finished at 22.9, both category B riders. No one else close to them. Despite the couple of little bumps, this still suits. It's more of a time trial course, really, especially the first 12k, which were completely flat. 23.2 kilometres, just past the start pens. So this part of the route forms what was the lead-in at the start of the race, a very short lead-in, I think of 0.8 kilometers. So Jury made a positive move just there, wanted to get in front. I don't think Ware is going to let him go though. .6. And there is the finish line. Is Ware going to kick? He is. He's kicking, but Jury's still out front. Jury's going for it. He's holding out more power. Ware's not. Oh, right on the finish line, but it was a win from Jury. And next will be Reed by himself. No one to threaten him, I don't think. Let's have a look behind. That rider's too far away in the distance and certainly not going to catch anyone up in the front. In front of him, there is the finish line for him. Littlewood's going for a bit of a sprint further back though. Who's he racing? No one from BCC, but he's certainly not giving up. That's nice to see actually. Littlewood, 7.3 watts per kilo as he just crosses the finish line. Next up is Langen. No one else from BCC, but next group of riders: Wood, White, Walker, Shannon. This could be an interesting one to watch. Sampson's dropped off, so it's at the moment it's Wood. In fact, is it? Yes, it's. Wait for it to settle. Wood, Shannon. Here we go. Here's the sprint. Walker's out front. As far as I can see, looks like Walker. Then Shannon. Shannon looks as if he might just push it into the front. Walker's responded. Looks like Walker, then Shannon. And then it will be Sampson coming up. Measham, by the looks of it, is next. And quite a way back. Fallen off the pace on this group at least. Stoneham with Booth right next to him has managed to get herself a sprint jersey and the climbers jersey. Well done on that. It's the fastest woman rider in Cat C this evening. And let's see, can she catch Stoneham? Oh, that would be the icing on the cake. She can see him just ahead. 5 seconds though, as they just pass the start pens, or just about to pass the start pens. Is this doable? I think it's a bit of an ask, unless Stoneham's not paying attention, which can happen. In fact, Stoneham is pulling away a little, but he's just responded, looked back, and probably saw Booth there beginning to wind the power up slightly, just to close that gap a little bit. The gap has now gone up to 8 seconds, so that I think is not likely. We'll have a look. But still responding though. But then Stoneham's responded as well. Stoneham will cross the line first. Just as Booth gets round the corner, she should see Stoneham just cross the line. So she will be next. And then after Booth, we have Jones in Cat C. Now at 22.8 kilometres. .32 minutes for Peter Jones. In case anyone worrying about that rider a minute back, E. Hayter, it's not the Ethan Hayter, not even an Ethan, I don't think. But a good name nonetheless, E. Hayter on Zwift. There is Peter Jones, 23.4 kilometres just having crossed the river. Past the start pens, now coming up to the marina, the right hand bend, and then the finish shortly afterwards. Here comes the right-hand bend at 23.8 kilometers. And there is the finish line. No need to sprint. We'll move to the last riders on the course, and Smith seems to be drilling it here for BCC. Not at the front of Cat D, but then just looking at some of them holding 3.5 watts per kilo, 2.5, 2.9. I don't think those are Cat D riders. They may have entered, but they run the risk of being disqualified. In fact, the first 1, 2, 3, 4 riders are all pushing well over Cat D, whereas Smith is right where he needs to be. So he may well get a win in Category D, moving him closer and closer to Cat C. He's now managed to pull, what's the gap between him and Lay? 2:21, but he's 4 minutes 53 ahead of Telford. That's a long way by anybody's means. And just while Smith reaches 22.9 kilometre. Next race is on Thursday, the Beaconsfield Crit Club. Unfortunately, I can't cover that one. I have another engagement. We'll be back again on Monday. And hopefully, next race, we'll push all the buttons at the right time, in the right order, in the right sequence. So it starts to record from the beginning. But I don't think anybody's missed anything. In fact, probably saved you 11 minutes of torture listening to me. But this is a good format, this race, in terms of at least providing coverage of who's crossed the line where. Not so sure what it's like to race myself, but I'm making my debut back on the bike tomorrow, which I'm very much looking forward to, and hoping that the heart holds out. If not, I won't be here next Monday. In fact, I'd forgotten all about this rider, Slipper. Not sure what he's doing at 0.9 watts per kilo. Now, don't forget, and I'm not laughing in any way, but this rider's been out here for 41 minutes. It's likely to take him another 10 minutes to get to the finish. Each of these riders are making their own effort in their own way. And being out there much longer than anyone else, that's quite an effort in itself. So he's just coming up the Petite KOM, the 6% gradient. Clearly not keen on hills. But nonetheless, Lay picking up a bit of speed there. Oh, I seem to... What's happened here? Have I missed Smith crossing the finish line? I think I might have done. Apologies for that. I thought it was 4.5 minutes to go, but that might have been to the rider behind. So next on course is Lay, 22.7. I don't think I'll follow all these riders to the end. Don't think it's going to change much. So the 3 remaining riders on course, Richard Lay, 22.9 kilometres in 43 minutes. Telford is 3 minutes 23 further back, just coming up to the sprint banner, I think. Let him... Oh, he just went through it. There we go. So he will now have an easier journey back to the finish. And the final rider in tonight's race, still going for it, is Matt Slipper. So thank you all for watching this evening. See you all on Monday week. Something else hasn't worked now. I don't know why. Let me just try that again. Turn me off. No, something else has gone. Oh well, never mind. That is it for this evening. Thank you all for watching. See you all next week.